Hello everybody, this is Alabama D. Thank you for joining me for my car ride. I've run to Starbucks, got to get a cafe latte and a cheese Danish. I want to make another video. It's kind of touching on my disclaimer video that I made. And I'm just kind of having an issue with a few things. And I've done some research on some of the court cases that Rolex USA has filed suit on with former companies here in the U.S. Claiming copyright infringement. Okay, and we'll go ahead and go with this, and I'll go ahead and say I don't agree with Rolex USA, and I think I'm the type of person that if they ever were to come to me with a cease and desist letter, I'm the type of person that I think I would fight them in court over it, to be honest, because I just don't agree with what they're doing. There was a case in California with California Dial, and you know, at the time, Rolex was fixing to launch their bright color dials of yellow, blue, red, purple, etc. And that's what California Dial had been doing for quite some time. And Rolex USA put forth their opinion and belief that if you take a vintage watch like California Dial did, and it's a Rolex watch, and it's all genuine, you know, it just came from Rolex service no more than 5 years ago, and they take the dial out of that watch and they change it to a different color and then reinstall it into that watch again and resell it, Rolex would claim that that was a replica watch. They would claim that person manufactured that watch and it became a whole new watch altogether just by changing the color of the dial. And they said that was their copyright infringement. You know, I don't think I agree with that. Now California Dial in no way used Rolex's, you know, logo or anything of that nature. They used the reputation of the quality that goes into their product. That is what they did. But Rolex USA, you know, had claimed that it was their copyright infringement. You know, I just don't agree with that. I mean, say you take a 1955 Chevrolet Bel Air 2-door hardtop, and it's been sitting in a cornfield for 30 years. It's rusted, it won't run, it needs all types of work. You repaint the car, you reprimer the car, you rebuild the engine, transmission, new tires, all this into it. Does that make it a new car? No, it was still made in 1955, right? You still get a vintage tag for it. You know, it doesn't make it an all-new car. It's still a car produced in 1955. Thus, the state recognizes that because you can get a vintage tag for it. You know, so how the government can say that it recognizes that car as being vintage from that year and getting a tax break on the tag, one-time payment only, and then all of a sudden have like, you know, like maybe Chevrolet come out and say, oh, that's an all-new car, that's copyright infringement on our product, you know, etc., etc. You know, I don't see how that would stand up in court. Ultimately, what happened was California Dial was obliterated, and surprisingly enough, Rolex had the same idea they did with their dials. Now you see them out in yellow and blue and red. You know, they came up with that idea, and I'm assuming that they probably copied California Dial and then snaked around them and made a claim that they were the one copyright infringing on them. You know, I mean, I just don't know. I mean, I know when it comes to me, when I do a vintage Rolex watch or any vintage watch, you know, Bulova, Orient, you know, what have you, Elgin, and I restore that watch, polish it, you know, service it, you know, that doesn't make it an all-new watch. It's still produced in the year that it was. You know, I mean, but Rolex claims that it would make it an all-new watch. But, I mean, I just don't agree with that at all. I mean, what do y'all think? I think Rolex does these type of things to try to make their watches more inclusive, you know, for certain clientele. But I mean, I enjoy Rolex. I mean, I really do. I love their products as far as their watches go. I mean, we all admire them. And touching back on the replicas, you know, if someone can't afford a $30,000 watch, but they like the way it looks, yeah, they'll go out and they'll buy an imitation. They'll buy a replica. I mean, they will. And there's a lot of people that will blast others for saying, hey, you're buying a replica. You know, I don't support that. Well, you know, I'm going to be the first one to say, like I did in my other video, that, you know, it is illegal in the U.S. to do that, to produce one, but to buy one, it's not. I actually do support people going out and buying a replica watch. Hang on one second, I'm at the window.
You had the one that I sang the cheese name?
I did.
$8.91.
There you go. Oh, just put it in the slot there, huh? Okay. If I can get it, there we go.
Gotcha. Did you need a receipt?
No, I'm fine, thank you.
And you have a great day.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, guys. So where was I? Yeah, I actually do support people that go out and buy a replica watch. I don't have an issue, in my opinion, in my beliefs, the way I do. You know, if someone wants to go out and buy a cheap copy of a really great watch, then they should have every right to do so. You know, I mean, they can get a homage watch, however you want to pronounce that. They can go out and they can buy a full-blown replica copy that does infringe on that company. And, you know, I mean, you have freedom. You have freedom to do whatever you want to do. That's what the United States is completely based off of, is you have the freedom to make own decisions for yourself and what you want. You know, forget what other people think. I personally don't care what anyone thinks. I don't have the time for that. You know, if someone decides to go out and buy a replica watch, good for them. You know, I mean, I'm not going to say that they're a bad person. I'm not going to say that what they're doing is wrong. I am not. Because ultimately, if you get something that's going to be a replica, you know it's not going to be the real thing. You know it's not going to be the same quality. We all know that these replicas come from China. Now, granted, most recently, with the movements like I showed in my last video, holy smokes, was that close. You know, it is a fantastic looking movement. And from what I've seen, it is a very good movement. It's not junk like it used to be anymore. It's not. This isn't some cheap 2813 that they stuffed into a case that looks like the real thing to some degree. No, it is actually very good quality. I mean, it is just outstanding. And I didn't see any brass plated parts. It appeared to be full brass. The polishing was superb. They put time and effort into making that replica movement. And having it available for $200, yes, that's a little bit on the expensive side for me for a watch movement. But $200 for something that I can barely tell a difference in, made from good quality metals, put together with good quality from someone who's basically an artist, because they learned that skill to be able to give that look and effect. I mean, they are in their own right true artists. And we made China that. We did. All of our products are made in China. We gave them the ability to mass produce and copy just about anything. And they are really good at what they do if they really put some work into it. And that's what they've done with this 3235 clone movement. It is outstanding. And if you replace that balance with the real thing, you couldn't tell the difference. And I've heard from so many Rolex watch owners that have seen those super clones with the actual clone movement in it. They have said that if they did not have Rolex's name on it, that they would have no problem buying it because they are really good watches. And they're right. These super clones that are now becoming available to everybody, like this clone movement I just bought that just came in a few days ago, it is outstanding quality. It is really good. And, you know, who wouldn't want to buy that? I mean, you're getting something really good for basically a very reasonable price. You know, and I'm not talking about the older clones like the 3135 or 3035 clones, because some of those in the very beginning were crap. I mean, they really were. They look like it, they function like it to some degree, but it was crap. Okay, but these newer ones, it's not junk anymore. It is really good stuff. And, you know, I'll throw in a watch that doesn't have the Rolex name on it just because it's good movement. It's great. You know, if I could buy that movement without Rolex stamped all over it, I'd buy more of it. You know, I'd throw it into every watch I have. You know, and I would sell those. But obviously, I'm not going to sell movement in a watch to somebody that has Rolex stamped all over it. Because even though I tell this person that it's not real, guess what? Someone can make the claim that I did say it was real and then, you know, take me to court over it. So I'm not going to do that. Oh, pulling up to the homestead now. But anyway, getting back to the whole point of this video is I don't agree with what Rolex did to California Dial. I mean, that was a little bit above and beyond, I think. Is that they did not, in my opinion, have the right to destroy a legitimate company just because they repainted a dial. You know, I mean, I just don't, you know, I don't think that's right. And, you know, I don't think that it makes an all-new watch. It's still an old watch. And it's not like Rolex stands behind their watches from the vintage era anymore. They won't work on them. What's wrong with that? You have a vintage Rolex watch. Someone loves it, cherishes what your company makes. And then you're going to go after them because they're making a few dollars on the side, restoring a masterpiece for someone who's going to love it and pass it down as a family heirloom. You know, they want people to buy their new watches, which I'm going to go ahead and say that the Rolex's new watches, I like them, they are nice, but they don't have the same personality as the vintage ones do, and I don't care for them as much. Even though changes have happened, there are not a lot of changes. I just don't like the fact that it's more modern. It is in a way like they're losing some of their characteristics from the older ones. That's just my opinion. But anyway, comment below. What do you think? Should Rolex come after people that are restoring watches? I mean, as an amateur watchmaker, I will be perfectly honest. I work on all watches. All watches. Bulova, Timex, all that good stuff. Should they come after me for servicing a watch and restoring it? I don't see that as flying in the courtroom. I mean, I really don't. Because you're restoring a vintage watch and you're letting that person know that, hey, yes, this is all Rolex parts, but officially it's not going to be considered by Rolex to them as being real just because you opened your hands on it and cracked open the back. That just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, because I see so many things being sold, things that are being displayed, even in museums with artwork and paintings. Hey, that's a Mona Lisa. Well, they cleaned it and touched it up a little bit. Okay, well, it's not the real Mona Lisa. I mean, I just, no. That's just horse shit, in my opinion on that. But I do love Rolex. I love the products. I know we all do. And I know a lot of us, hey, you know, we're going to fall to temptation and we're going to buy a replica because we can't afford the $30,000, $40,000 real one, you know. And I know there's a lot of snobs out there, a lot of pricks that are rich. Well, just work hard and get a real one. Well, you know, hey, buddy, guess what? We weren't born with a silver spoon up our ass. You know, sorry. But, you know, the way I see it, I did work hard to get the Rolex watches I have. First, I learned how to make watches and service watches, and then I spent my money, time, and effort on eBay, found a Rolex precision case, dial, movement, hands, everything from Rolex, and then I put it together for myself to wear, and everything matches. Serial numbers, hands are from the right era, everything matches. It is what it is supposed to be. But, you know, of course, Rolex will say it's not a real Rolex watch just because I worked on it myself. I don't know. I don't fall for that. You know, but, you know, it's not like I'd ever sell them anyway. I'm greedy like that. I'm much too greedy. You know, I build them for myself because I like wearing them. I do like the product. I like their history. I like how they came to be. I like what, you know, their marketing does. The only thing I don't like about Rolex is the fact that they go after the small guys at times just because they love their product and they put one together for them, you know, themselves and actually sold to others. But, you know, I don't think legally they're even going to consider me at all because, you know, I don't really sell them to the public. I make them for myself because they're mine. You know, I want to wear them. I want to put my time and effort into it. I want to wear it, you know. You know, I mean, sure, you know, I'll fix other people's watches on the side. You know, oh, hey, you know, my balance axle broke or something. Or, you know, hey, the click fell off. Or, hey, I overwound my watch. Can you fix the mainspring? You know, things like that. Sure, you know. So I don't think Rolex would ever really consider me because I didn't manufacture the thing. You know, I just fixed it. I repaired it. That's all I did. You know, but I just don't see him doing it. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll get a letter one day. But I'm not going to worry about it. And, you know, I might just say, you know, to them, hell no. You know, I'm a watch repairman. That's what I do. I repair watches. I didn't produce it. You know, I didn't make it. So, there you go. Okay, guys, anyway, this is Alabama Deep. That's my thoughts. Comment below what you think about Rolex doing that, especially the California dials. That was extreme overkill. I got to get this coffee and get this little pastry inside for my wife. And I will holler at y'all later. So, please like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Help me out with YouTube. We'll see you on the next one.